all the locals and all your friends from the intermediate school district chipped in to get you a little something. We wanted to make sure you had something to remember everybody by. Plus, we wanted you to have a little bit of cash because we heard that you like to ham it up sometimes, so you can put that towards your ham radio.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to let you open this up. Say a few more things. In 1953, Jim started working in the public work, public welfare, and has continued until this day, working in the public work. He has served in schools some 10 years. It's been our blessing that he's come our way. Many of us have felt the same way. We got another body in here, and it's going to be helpful. And Jim certainly has helped to make his mark in this area, and has been very helpful to the schools and to young people and servicing them. And we appreciate that. One of the things in getting to know someone, rather on a personal basis, I found that Jim's been on his own and making his own way since he's been 14 years old. He's worked in the public service almost as long as I've lived. And that gives you an idea of maybe how long he's been working in this area. But we trace back at least 34 years in public works that he has worked. I'm trying to make myself younger. And we've shared some struggles together. We've shared some of our blessings that we've had together. I think if I were to give one characteristic that I admire about him is that after sticking a foot in the bucket like everyone else does every now and then, Jim comes around, usually is able to say, hey, I could have done something different than the way I did it, and humble enough to do that. He's able to do that because he believes in God. He's serious about his dedication, serious about the welfare of other people, and we just appreciate him. The courage that he's had during this past year, the struggle, most have known it, some may not have, but just in case you're one that does not know, Jim has struggled with cancer during this past year. Upon realizing that retirement was there and coming, he also found out that he had this battle dealing with his life. He has remained positive. He's been able to get himself back up from discouragement, and he has faced it head on, and he has certainly been a good example to others that have faced a tragedy and yet able to turn around and say, hey, I'm going to keep my mental attitude positive. I am going to battle this, and he certainly has. And I admire him for that. Jim has some great days before him. He has planned his retirement. He's been wise in that area. He's planned it, looking forward to it. And this is tremendous. And he's looking forward to it with, I think, some happiness and satisfaction. And yet, like all things, there's always I'm the worst guy that's been speaking but I appreciate him, and I appreciate most of all his spirituality.
very difficult to speak to you because of all of these things, nice things that have been said, but most of you have asked me, well, what are you going to do? And sometimes I give you a flip answer like, well, not very much of anything. But actually, there's quite a few important things that I'm going to try to do. Since I have been given a chance to live my life over by Almighty God, I'm going to do it this way. This is not original with me. I ran across this a few years ago, and I'd like to read it to you. And I'm not going to be employed anywhere. I'm going to be a volunteer at St. Luke's Hospital in Saginaw with somebody most of you know, probably Lou Laurie from Vassar. But I'm going to try to do these things every day somehow. And I'd like to read this to you, and if you'd like a copy, I'd be happy to try and furnish one to you. I gave this to an elementary principal out in Kansas a few years ago. He had a staff bulletin that he put out every week, and this took up the staff bulletin for a week. That gives you an idea of the kind of material it is. And probably some of you have heard this before. It's I think, a very common kind of writing, but this is what I'm going to do. If I had my life to live over, I'd try to make more mistakes next time. I would relax. I would limber up. I would be sillier than I have been. I know a few things I would take seriously. I would be crazier. I would be less hygienic. I would take more chances. I would take more trips. I would climb more mountains, swim more rivers, and watch more sunsets. I would eat more ice cream and fewer beans. I would have more actual problems and fewer imaginary ones. I would not live prophylactically, insensibly, insanely, hour after hour and day after day. In fact, I'd have nothing else, just moments, one after the other, instead of living so many years ahead of each day. I would go places and do things and travel lighter than I have. I would start barefoot earlier in the spring and stay that way later in the fall. I would succeed by accident. I would ride on more merry-go-rounds. I certainly would pick more daisies. This is what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to try. I hope that I can do some things with some of you once in a while. I'm going to be around. I'm going to bug you. I'm going to smile at you. I'm going to talk with you. I'm going to smile at you. I'm going to care about you a great deal. Thank you very much.
We want to see what he's got here. And while he's opening up, if you would like to, if you'd like to have anything more at this table, please feel free to. To meet here. There is coffee up here, and it is hot.